I feel like there's always things to do when it comes to adapting and changing. And I do feel that right now social media has obviously changed. Have you ever felt like I could have done more back then?
I got into Instagram kind of late. So I got into like 2017, 18 and, people had been pushing it hard for, 4 or 5 years when reach was much, much easier.
Welcome to the Queendom.
You've just spoken so much about the hunger you have for growth, and you've got a beautiful mind when it comes to reading. But have you ever felt like I could have done more back then, or I wish I did this back then, and it's something that you've kind of navigated through now?
I got into crypto a couple of years ago, and my neighbor, who's a very wealthy, successful kind of business guy and stuff, and in property and stuff like that, and he was like, all right, sell me on crypto. Like, why are you doing crypto? And I said to him is that, it's still early days and I've got no idea if it was kind of go well. But all I know is that from past experiences in life, when something innovative comes into the market.
Hey guys, real quick. Have you ever been stressed out or stuck on a problem you just can't seem to figure out, and then a friend or a mentor comes along with like a fresh perspective and shows you a solution that completely changes the game for you? I'm smiling right now as I say this because I know I've had a ton of these moments while building my businesses and remembering back to all the people I have been helped by, which gets me so excited. So I want to pass on the information here and give you guys a favor to build this Queendom community. Whatever platform you are listening on, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and tune in every Wednesday, because you just never know when you'll hear that special something that completely changes the game for you. And when it happens, make sure you leave behind 5 stars so we know our efforts are making an impact. I love you guys. Let's get back into it.
You kind of want to try and get in early, be quick to the party and not just kind of sit on the sidelines too long. Because, let's say Bitcoin goes to $1 million in 10 years time and you could buy it at $20,000 now, then you'll probably be happy you did it. It could go to zero, you don't know. But something I've looked at is from a standpoint of, and so funny enough, he's got into Bitcoin and stuff like that. Recently, he loves it. But again, I'm not telling people to get into crypto or anything like that. It's a small part of what I do. When you kind of go to, my seller to him was saying, hey, if there's something new and innovative, probably normally in history kind of shows you that the early adopters kind of win. And so something, when you ask what I regret, was I got into Instagram kind of late. So I got into like 2017, 18 and, people had been pushing it hard for, 4 or 5 years when reach was much, much easier. And then likewise, I started TikTok at the end of last year and, I put zero effort in, and then Lauren and other people were like, oh, you should do TikTok. And that was like 3, 4, 5 years ago when it was, people who were pretty average coaches, had no followers on Instagram. Now they got 4 million followers on TikTok, because they got in early. The early adopters generally win. So that's kind of my thing, is like looking at technology, and when things kind of change, it's kind of not putting your head in the sand and be like, no, I don't like this. This is not fair. I'm fine. I like what I'm doing right now. The ones who kind of win are the ones who get in early and innovate and kind of go with it and not try to fight it. And so from a standpoint of, I often think, well, man, I wonder where my business would be if I got in an extra 2 years earlier when reach and engagement was way better. And, things like that, I often think it's so when new things come in the market, it's kind of like, do you want to fight against it? Because technology generally wins out. People fought against the internet. People fought against cars when they were invented in like the early 1900s, or the motor and stuff like that. And the people who fought against it generally get left behind, and it's the early adopters that win. That was kind of my main thing with business, is that, you only know what you know. So when you kind of say, all right, now I learn more about reading books and things I could have done, that's fine, because I didn't know that stuff and no one was really showing me. But the things where you knew that I probably should be kind of looking at this, that's where I get a bit more frustrated, because you had the opportunities, you thought about it, you looked at it and you're like, nah. But like, learning about, copy and learning about, marketing and stuff like that, that's something I've only come into place, and no one even spoke to me about that. So yeah, I could have been better. I could have been, all these things, but a lot of that stuff is just, okay, that's a part of life. But it's when opportunities kind of arise, especially with technology, I think it just shows you that you should probably be jumping on the train earlier than later.
So we're near at the end of the episode. I know I don't want it to end either. And I love you guys so much for tuning in every week and coming to this journey with me. But the good news is it doesn't have to end here. If you've gotten value from today, I have something really special I want to share with you. Now, most people are very dedicated to learning from podcasts or books, but when it comes to taking the action required to make these ambitions come true, they retreat back to their comfort zone and listen to another podcast. But I know that there is a small group of queens listening right now that are hungry for more. You want complete freedom over how you spend your time and money, and you want to be able to do it from anywhere in the world. I understand you. I was you. And now I have complete freedom over my time, location, and money. And I did it all with my social media blueprint. And if you are part of the group that takes action towards your dream life, I have included an exclusive link for you to jump on board below at 50% off. I appreciate you queens all so much. Now let's finish this one with a bang.
God, I started early on Instagram and my Instagram's not the best, but it just goes to show. I feel like there's always things to do when it comes to adapting and changing. And I do feel that right now social media has obviously changed so much with everything